Hey everyone, we're going to talk about training our dogs using hand signals today. So it sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is. If you think about it, as humans, we are really verbal creatures. But dogs, while they can learn human language, they are much more in tune with our body language and our movements. So learning hand signals to them almost comes easier than learning the English language. So as we train, from the time that our dogs have been puppies, whether we've entered formal training or just started training to do basic things around the house, we've been using hand signals all along. If you think about our basic control commands, we have our sit, down, stay, come. All of those commands we have either formally or informally been using hand signals. So how many of you, when you try to get your dog to sit, you point your finger and you say sit, sit, and your body goes forward and you're leaning over toward the dog because you're talking to them as a human would do. But we're using our bodies to kind of signal our intentions or what we want the dog to do. Coming when called. When you take your hands and you put them on your knees and you're, saying, come on, let's go, come on, and you're trying to get them to come to you, again, it's your body language. You're bending forward, you're tapping your knees, you're doing something physically besides just saying that spoken word. Down, pointing down to the ground, lie down, down, all of those sorts of things. The dog pays really, really close attention to as it's beginning to learn. As we do this, I want you to really pay attention to your body language and also start to notice whether or not your dogs are learning the commands from the spoken word without the body language. That's sometimes fun to do. So today, I want you to think about your commands that you're going to be using. I'm going to show you the commands that I use in formal obedience, but certainly you can change those to whatever you think might benefit you. One of the things that I want you to think about is how you want your dog to respond to a signal. So if you are out in the yard and you want to signal your dog to come in without using a spoken word, that signal should be a large signal. A signal that is using a large sweeping hand motion, because it just takes a second for the dog to turn his head and not pay attention and miss that signal. So if your signals are grand signals, if they're big signals, the dog tends to notice them from a distance much easier. If my signal for come is this, just wagging my finger from a distance, he's not going to see that. It's not going to be that noticeable. So think about the signals that you're using and how you're going to use them. You can use subtle gestures, but you need to stay very consistent. It's just a lot easier. You gotta admit, it's really impressive for somebody to see a dog respond to just hand signals, and yet it's one of the easiest things to teach. So we're going to get started. I'm going to show you each of the hand signals that I use, and then I'd like you to give it a try. As you practice this week, make sure that you try practicing using just voice, no body language, or just body language, no voice. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to get started. As you begin to train this, you want to make sure that you're using your voice command and your signal as you do this, because they are still learning that voice command. You will fade your voice command as they begin to learn that signal. Remember that this requires a lot of attention. if you are just using a signal alone and your dog turns its head to look at a squirrel or a passerby, they might miss that signal. So I always start with both voice and signal, fade the voice, and then use the hand signal as I need it. So our first signal is the sit signal. When you're teaching the sit, you're going to use your body language, but the signal looks like this. It's a forward sweeping hand motion up into the sit. I tend to use a full hand signal, okay? I don't usually point. So it's a signal to sit, okay? As you're teaching this, you can step into the dog and use proximity to get them to perform that behavior, just like you did when you were teaching the sit command. So it's going to look like this. Leo, sit. Okay? Forward, lean, and that clear signal. Okay. Okay? Leo, sit. Okay. One more time. Now, from a distance, Leo. I used his name to get his attention, but I did not say that sit command. Okay. Let's see if we can get him further away. I hope you can see this. Sit. I've got Leo online so that, again, I have control. And I put him in a sit. Leo, come. And he sat directly in front of me. Okay, I guess that wasn't such a good demonstration. So that is the sit. Again, forward sweeping hand motion up. As you say the dog's name, the word sit, and give your signal. Eventually, you're fading the vocal part, okay, the word. That's sit. Our signal for down is sweeping hand motion up. I try to keep mine lasting a long time. There are lots of trainers that will do something really impressive for the down. They'll put their hand up and down really quickly, or they'll do something like this. That's fine. You can use whatever signals you want, but again, if he turns his head right about here, he still has all of this to see, and he has a better chance of hitting that signal. So it's going to look like this. Leo, sit. I've got my line here, and I'm going to signal. As I signal down, I am going to put my hand into this leash, or into this line. It's going to look like this. Leo, down. Okay? I'm kind of guiding with that lead. Okay, I'm going to show it maybe from right here. Leo, sit. Leo, down. Okay, forward body lean, hitting into that leash, and standing up. Okay, lots and lots of repetition on this one. Leo, sit. Leo, down. Eventually fading the word and just using the signal. Now I am stepping forward and guiding down here. Okay. Eventually, you're not going to want to step forward anymore. Leo, sit. Leo. Just that hand signal down. Okay, what a good dog. And he's going to get a reward for that one. There you go. All righty, stay. We have trained stay sit to be a hand motion in front of them. Leo, stay. Bringing back our hand and stepping out on the right foot, the foot furthest from the dog. That cues them in to that stay. Okay? Stay is a hard one to do from a distance. When I want my dog to stop from a distance, I will usually use down. Because if they can drop to the down from a distance, they're no longer moving. And remember, when we train that the command is followed until the next command is given. So down means down and stay until I tell you to do something else. Leo, stay. And then you're walking away. Okay. Coming when called. Sit. Coming when called is a forward sweeping hand motion that goes like this. Across your body. You're actually beckoning them in to come to you. As you do that, if you have your dog on a line or leash, you can grab a hold of that line, stay, and you can grab it as you pull them in, okay? That's kind of your beginning of that sweeping hand motion in using that line. I tend to back up as I call to come. As your dog progresses and gets better and better, you can stay in position. Now some people will do something, kind of snazzy, just the little finger wave, or they'll come up with a different signal. Again, you can do that. It's up to you. But whatever signals you choose to use with your dog, you're going to want to make sure that you stay consistent. Stay. I'll show you that come. Leo, front. Okay, good boy. Try it one more time. Sit. Stay. Leo, front. Again, I'm using the word and the signal. Sit. Okay. And I'm going to fade to just the signal. Leo, sit. The nice thing about using the line or the leash as you train this, if Leo wasn't paying attention at that point, if I gave that signal and he just sat there, I could use my line to give him that little tug to remind him that he needs to pay attention. So training on a line or a leash is really beneficial. Remember, if you do your work, if you really train hard and you build a good relationship with your dog, the line or leash can go away as needed. Your dog will respond without it when they really need it. So we've done sit, we've done stay, we've done down, we've done come. There's one more signal that we haven't done yet, and that's the stand. We haven't trained stand yet, but the stand signal means stop and stand and stay. So I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. Leo, sit. My stand signal is I put my foot out and motion for him to stand. Leo, stand. And I'm going to guide him up by putting my hand on his back leg here. Stay. Okay. I'm going to try it again. Leo, sit. Leo, stand. Okay? You see the hand is out to the side, and I am ready, if he didn't stand, to touch here at the withers, but this is my signal. Okay. One more time. See if you can see it from this angle. Sit. Stand. Leo, stand. Come on. There you go. And again, I had to touch at the withers to stop him from any forward movement. Okay. So that gives you a lot of things to think about. I hope you have fun this week training your dog.